are now on YouTube. Watch all of our live episodes plus exclusive content in our channel at radyo-katipunan FM. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the bell to get the latest updates. Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, dunong at tulog. Lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, 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 Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan. Radyo, Katipunan.
For all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
What's poppin', and welcome to Popcorn with Cholo Sediaren, your stop for all things pop, where we talk about all things pop culture from here in the Philippines to the rest of the globe. Welcome back, everyone, and this is our Oscars 2022 nominations roundup. But before we head to that exciting news, is it exciting? I think it is. Let's head over to our co-hosts for the day, our bros. It's funny lang because we're all guys, and I guess it's kind of representative of the Academy Awards and their voters that they should definitely diversify. Let's welcome back our co-host. Emil is here.
Yeah, hello. That was very good, Cholo. That was a great segment.
Thank you so
Very good.
much.
That was
I
great.
appreciate the feedback to my jokes. Let's welcome back Jace.
Hello, hello, hello.
Also here is Denny,
Yes!
Hi guys.
all the way from
Bye.
Chicago.
In the chai.
And
Chai.
of course, we have Kearns as well.
Hello. Let's
So
go.
these are our esteemed panelists. Well, esteemed talaga. I am simply a moderator for the day because I have probably only seen a handful of these nominees for the Academy Awards this year. But that signifies this time of the year na everyone's gonna go and see what the Academy Awards are buzzing about, or what has been snubbed, or what they feel have deserve to be there or don't deserve to be there, which we'll probably be talking a bit more about later. But general thoughts on the announcements from yesterday.
I'm actually not mad.
Yeah.
It seems
Like,
like a
all-
chill year, no?
Yeah,
It
all of the
does.
things I would be mad about, like I expected. All of the snubs that I feel strongly about, I'm like I expected. So I'm not like there's no big swerves. I mean, there are a few swerves, but I don't feel super strongly about it. The Yeah, we can get into like in the specifics, but overall, I think not bad. Academy
Yeah,
Awards.
not bad. Like I was
You
it
do
was
not have to
very,
hand it to the Academy, but
yeah. Like yun nga, I was di mo satisfied, but yun nga, like not surprised at all. Like I didn't get angry. I was happy for a few of them. Like I was so happy na my gut got it right. But yun nga, I took it, I accepted it. I was like, oh, not bad talaga. I was okay with the selection.
I think the sooner you sort of accept that, like before the nominations are announced, the sooner you accept that the Academy will go for a very small like circle of films, and they're not going to acknowledge like all these amazing international films that came out the year before, the easier the nominations will go down. But I will say that there were also like certain surprises that I was very happy to see. So I feel like weirdly enough, the surprises slightly outweighed the like the typical sort of things that we were expecting. So I also was not angry. I downloaded a bunch of Euphoria memes to tweet out in anger. Then I didn't use any of them. So that's a good sign. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say caters to a very small minority of white people. There's no
Well.
other way of putting it. But
True.
I mean, that has been the diba? That has been the what do you call this? The parang criticism about the Oscars for the last few years, even with that hashtag Oscars so white trending a few years back. So, they kind of tried to break that spell, with Parasite and also now with Drive My Car. But I guess there's still a lot more diversification to happen with this. And I guess it also applies to a lot of American-led, Western-led award shows like the Grammys as well, diba? That's also very controversial in terms of who they nominate. And in general, I think we spoke about this last year, the general parang relevance of awards in the first place. Like, are they still as relevant as they were in the earlier days now in this dawn of the internet? But anyway, continue on, Jace. I thought maybe you have some thoughts.
So actually, same. Like continuing off of what you were gonna say, I don't think na the Oscars. When I saw the lineup, I wasn't mad, but then at the same time, it was like we're kind of part of film Twitter to a certain extent, and most of like the general population will likely have not seen any of these films. In all honesty, um, hopefully they have. Let's hope for that. Pero yeah, I think wala na yung I was listening to The Big Picture with Sean Tennessee and Amanda Dobbins, and they were talking about how the Oscars is no longer obviously the cultural center point for like film and all of that. And I think that's very much true. Ano? When I saw the list, actually, ang una ko naisip is, oh my God, they're not gonna get any ratings this year. Um, which I'm happy with because I don't really care about that. I care about rewarding like great movies, but at the same time, parang there were a bunch of choices here that I really just do not like. Um, maybe we can talk about that a bit later. Pero ayun, I'm actually excited for a bunch of stuff here to talk about. So hopefully exciting yung conversation natin.
Yeah, but like to your question then, to your point, parang what exactly will make awards like this relevant again? Like how do they innovate themselves in the future? Will they even innovate themselves to begin with? I mean, those are big questions that we cannot answer definitely. But before we continue, let's welcome our female representation for the episode.
Yay.
Hello, Miss Aliyah Ro.
Hi, Aliyah!
Humabol siya para ano daw, hindi naman tayo masabihan na puro lalaki lang tayo.
Grabe! I didn't even know who was in the room.
But anyway,
I just wanted to
welcome to the
say.
discussion. Yeah, any other thoughts? Denny and Prince.
Parang
I'm good.
as we go through, like more will suddenly come
Yeah.
up. Feeling ko.
All right, so I guess let's
Yeah.
head on to some of the categories that we'd like to talk about before we head on to the major categories that we'd like to discuss. This is kind of like throwing around lang, parang picking some choices from all the other categories. Who wants to start with this and their thoughts?
Oh, which category ba muna?
The category is Hey Kitty Girl. Just kidding. Such a very
Okay.
very specific reference. But siguro we can start with yung mga technical awards like best cinematography, best production design, visual effects. If there's any standouts or you feel na hindi napansin in this race for this year. But I guess just before we continue on that, naisip ko lang din na parang the last popular Oscars that I really remember was 2016, the year of La La Land. Yun na yata yung pinaka like it was still a cultural moment that people were really looking to watch and people were really like raving about it, aside from people who are on film Twitter or who are generally like cinephiles. Parang yun na yung mas mainstream pa yung Oscars na people were actually talking about it, and the impact on like La La Land and Moonlight in that year was really like something big. Was that the same year that they had that selfie with Ellen, or
that was
the
the
year
year before.
after?
That was the year after.
So parang those two, I guess, are kind of like the last super memorable things to happen. So I guess parang that's where we're at right now. Na parang that was 5 years ago, almost six na ba or 5? More than
Wow.
7 years ago.
Almost 6.
Math.
Almost.
Math.
Math.
No, 5.
5 kasi 17 yung
2017.
Welcome to the
kasi
show.
2016.
Yeah.
We can't count. That's why we like movies.
Point.
Exactly. So yun na nga, parang yun na yun eh. Parang from there, even like the Grammys, I would say, and the Emmys aren't really like, they're still talking points, but they're not big cultural moments. Like TikTok took over and all these Twitter discourses. So yeah. Anyway, any other thoughts on that? All right. So
I mean, no, I was just gonna say,
I mean-
if you wanted to talk about like the technical stuff, I mean, this is something we see happen every year. Is that when it comes to the technical categories, they still sort of revolve around films that are generally nominated as well in the major categories. Because I feel like Oscar voters like voting, parang nagbablock voting sila per film. Like they really sort of revolve around nga certain films lang. Which is like fine, because I'm not necessarily angry at like many of the technical nominees either. But yeah, there is, I just feel like, as usual, a sort of specific lack of variety. Like when you talk about something like, let's say, best sound, I feel like that category almost never goes to like, let's say, horror films or other genre films that are sort of outside the usual. Which is not to say that the current nominees are like have bad sound necessarily, but it's just, I feel like there's always an opportunity. There should always be an opportunity to shine a light on movies that use these technical aspects in like really inventive ways, even if they're not like super mainstream. So it's just a little disappointing that that's not the thing. I'll just say that the one nominee in all of the technical categories that I'm excited about is the No Way Home visual effects one, because I haven't seen No Way Home, and that means we're gonna get a screener soon. So I'm really hoping for that. How
No,
am I
I mean,
gonna
it's
how am I
coming
gonna
out at the end of the
appreciate?
month,
But
the
yeah,
official
exactly. But
release.
how am I gonna appreciate the visual effects in No Way Home if like it's a blurry cam rip, or if it's like slotslights.com coming up from the ground? So yeah. Anyway,
That's a very valid point, Emil. Na this year is also pretty weird because a lot of these films we don't necessarily have access to. I mean, in the
Yeah.
pandemic, the Philippines was kind of left behind in terms of accessibility, not just for these international films who have done wide releases internationally, but also with mga local films na, you know, it's pretty hard if it's not on Netflix. Sometimes parang I Want isn't even like that accessible to like the huge audience it would have it parang if it were to be on a big screen, right? So parang there's that feeling na parang Jace was correct kanina na, you know, people have probably wouldn't have seen these or probably would not see these if they were not nominated in the first place, right? So that's also the context we find ourselves in this year kasi nga parang, you know, it's still that weird transition phase back to the big screen, sans the Netflix and other streaming platforms who have a lot of nominations like Apple TV Plus as well. So yeah, I mean, yun na nga, Spider-Man, I think Paula mentioned last week that there are actually two versions of Spider-Man No Way Home visual effects existing. So that's pretty interesting because I've seen it on with a screener. I've seen it in a theater. I don't know what's gonna come out in the digital release if it's the same thing that I've seen the last two times. So parang that's also pretty interesting. And what did the Academy see as well? What version is that? I mean, it is the multiverse, so I guess it's valid. People have seen different versions of this one movie. Any other thoughts before we head on to like more specific categories?
Ako, I just want to say na sobrang missed opportunity to nominate Spider-Man No Way Home for Best Picture. Not because I think that it's particularly like an excellent piece of like filmmaking belonging to like top 100 or whatever, but I think that going back to like this whole cultural tentpole thing, parang that would have made people like watch the Academy Awards, honestly, just to see if it will win. But also, it would have thrown a wrench into what the definition is of a a good piece of cinema is. Because for the longest time, we know na blockbusters don't necessarily make it into the Best Picture category. And I think na we do have like a blockbuster here, which is technically Dune. We'll talk about that later. Pero wala lang. Iniisip ko rin yun kung parang should it be nominated, should it not be? Because usually when people talk about like other stuff, madalas naman, meron namang mga bad Best Picture nominees. So, I don't know. Yung gusto ko sana i-note is that House of Gucci was only nominated for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. That's that's partly surprising because their costumes were directly from like Gucci archives.
Gucci, yeah.
Yeah, and all of that. So I don't know. I'm not a costumes expert. I feel like I also feel like generally there are a lot of films costume that tend to like thrive on excess, diba? Rather than like costume design that really informs like character and everything.
Yeah.
And we see naman that reflected in this, which is why I'm actually surprised that House of Gucci wasn't nominated for this. But then yun, note ko lang, can we talk about editing? Because parang in the past few years...
Sorry,
diba,
before you head there, just to add to the House of Gucci conversation.
Go.
I saw that conversation on Twitter saying that this production, anong tawag dito? This guy who got nominated, si Goran Lundstrom, Anna Karen Locke, and Frederick Aspiras, Best Makeup and Hairstyling. I think one of them parang talked about how they were showing like um they were showing the
Ricky Scott.
director like their notes pero hindi sila pinapansin and they ended up being the only ones nominated for this
Yeah.
film. So that's also like a big discussion in like, the how everyone should be an equal in film production and not just like, you're the director. I think they had 100 wigs for Lady Gaga on this one, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, God.
So
Gosh.
it's crazy.
Fred Aspiras is a Filipino, I think. But then
Ooh.
Oh.
he moved to LA in 2004 pa. So yun. So yun, Pinoy Pride or whatever.
But none for you, Ridley Scott. Just kidding.
Yeah. Ayun, wala lang. Interesting lang yun. I'm just happy that anyway, yung best film editing, usually kasi di ba parang may statistics thing na parang
Yeah, that editing
nominate
leads to
palagi for
picture.
editing ang best
Yeah.
picture.
Yep.
And which ones are nominated? Don't Look Up,
Don't Look
King
Up,
Richard.
Richard and Power.
Power of the Dog, diba? And parang wala lang. Parang there's a likelihood na one of those will be like best picture. Wala lang yan. Or obviously Ari Wegner. I think she's the first woman to be nominated for cinematography.
Second.
Second.
After Rachel.
Morrison.
I should Rachel
Mudbound.
Morrison.
And then Tragedy of Macbeth. I'm just surprised that Tragedy of Macbeth got nominated for stuff considering it didn't really campaign super hard.
It's late.
I think it coasted on directed by Joel Cohen, and I mean for me it deserved every single one of its nominations.
Oh yeah.
Because it's production design and cinematography and Denzel Washington just deciding to do Macbeth as his character from Training Day is like that's kind of the bread and butter of the movie. I really liked Tragedy of Macbeth, so I think it was able to coast on. Oh, we have like the most high wattage, maybe the most high wattage cast of any movie, like appealing to a certain like 50-year-old like Academy voter sensibility. Cohen, Washington, McDormand, just they have probably those names, and they're like, yeah, they can carry us. And then they got a few nominations. I feel like they had an outside shot for picture. So overall, I think pretty good. I would have put him in the picture field, honestly, but like pretty good performance for Tragedy of Macbeth. I hope it wins, like at least the technicals because it deserves it.
I don't lang. Nominated ang Free Guy for Best Visual Effects. Like, Oscar nominee ang Free Guy.
I haven't seen it.
Guys, I haven't seen it either, but like...
It's really good though.
It was fun. To be fair, it was
Really
fun.
fun.
I would say it was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I'll watch that.
Oscar nominee, Free Guy. Just kidding.
Right? That's so... Wala lang. I keep thinking about it. Sorry, go lang.
It's a really fun like popcorn movie with a lot of Easter eggs that you will probably
Lots of
really be,
reference.
yeah, exactly. I think somebody wanted to talk about best screenplay as well.
Oh, that's me. Time to get on my little box and scream about how excited I am that The Worst Person in the World, maybe the best screenplay of the 2020s, is getting some recognition for best original screenplay. I think best international feature was like a lock for it, but I was a little surprised that it got best original screenplay. I'm pleasantly surprised. I know it's not gonna win. My gut tells me Don't Look Up is gonna win best original screenplay, but
how original of
Worst Person in the World. Yeah, Worst Person in the World. I think is. I hope more people see it. I know screenplay isn't an award that people traditionally pay attention to, but I hope more because it comes out in the US Valentine's weekend. Great decision, guys. So Worst Person in the World is it's coming wide this weekend. So I hope more people come out to see it because they're like, oh, that has an interesting title. We heard it in the Oscar, like the 10 people in the world who aren't in film Twitter that watched the Oscar nominations or whatever. I hope they come out for it because I do think it's a film that's very much tailored for the time. I think it's the best screenplay of the decade thus far. And I think the other movies in that category don't really need more attention. I think Worst Person should have gotten a Best Picture nomination. I think, I kind of want Drive My Car Best Picture, Worst Person in the World, Best International split in my like fantasy dream world where every film gets awarded, but it's not gonna happen. So all I need is more people to see the actual Best Actress of the Year, Renata Rines, just kind of do her thing. Shout out Licorice Pizza also. It may be the weirdest screenplay of the year, but I'm glad it got nominated because it's very adapted. Power of the Dog is gonna. It seems like a Power of the Dog runaway unless Drive My Car suddenly pulls a Parasite over the next few months.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Those
yeah,
are my
definitely I would agree with the worst person in the world. And I guess let's proceed to best international feature. So nominated with it are Lunana, a yak in the classroom from Bhutan, which I think was not included last year but was resubmitted, tama ba?
Yes.
Yeah.
And The Hand of God from Italy, Drive My Car from Japan, and Flee from Denmark. So yeah, I mean, definitely the worst person in the world. I think we spoke about it last week or 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, it takes you on that journey, no, na parang, your life's a mess, but it's okay somehow. So yeah, any other thoughts on the international features?
Medyo
Me and-
na-surprise
oh, sorry,
nga
go
ako actually when I found out lang na it was resubmitted, gano, I was like, okay, that was weird. I never knew na pwede pala yun. And I never pegged it as like a front runner because like I really assumed na it was gonna be like a hero yung mapapasok.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah, a
like
hero.
yun yung more talked about. And if you wanna look at sino yung mga sikat na actresses, I mean, Lamb had the most recognizable actress, diba? So if ever there was like gonna be a sneak in, it might have been Lamb. Pero like I never saw the Bhutan film coming in talaga. And wala, weird. But the rest, the other nominees, medyo like given the past other like the award ceremonies that have been nominating, medyo naging redundant na sino yung international films na was gonna nominated, that were gonna get nominated. So di rin ako surprised. But I kinda like what Denny said na if Drive My Car wins Best Picture in an ideal world, I would be totally happy if Worst Person like gets international. Like in an ideal world talaga, I would have agreed with that talaga.
It's not gonna happen, but
It's not gonna happen, but
also
I'd love
yeah,
it.
I think 3 of the best international features were basically set in stone. I think Drive My Car, Worst Person, and Flee were always like locks. But The Hand of God was like a soft lock, and I would have like thought a hero was also a lock. But then, good for Bhutan. Like,
Yeah.
Good for
congrats Bhutan, congrats
Like-
Lunana Yak in the classroom.
I mean, honestly,
I should go out of my way to see it. That's
Honestly,
the purpose
like-
of this award, really.
it's exciting when stuff like that happens because you begin to ask yourself, when's the last time you watched a movie from Bhutan? Diba?
Yeah.
Like it's nice to know that like there is a national cinema in these places we don't normally hear of, or that don't normally get a spotlight in like film festivals abroad and stuff.
Yeah,
So it's just exciting. Like I remember my knee-jerk tweet to that, which I deleted, was like, I've never heard of this film, but then I realized like it's great that people haven't heard of this film because like again, it's boring if we just hear the same names over and over again. So I look forward to seeing what the yak is doing in the classroom.
But the last movie I saw from Bhutan is Train to Bhutan. Just kidding.
Ay nako.
Oh no.
No.
Never mind.
No.
Okay, that is
Nope.
the end of my stint here. I will
Oh yeah,
pass on.
2 points po for Cholo.
BBS po. Paki-save po ako. Aliyah was gonna say something, I think.
Oh, Jake.
No, ganun.
Okay. Actually, if you think about it, yung Lunana and Ayak in the classroom, like, it's a best picture for 2 years in a row sa Bhutan, right? Kasi they had the option to submit a different film. But then I think they created an Oscar nominating body specifically to submit it.
Yeah.
So parang
Mhm.
that's a great narrative. I think that obviously like a lot of people back that up, Imagine kasi wala tayong Oscar committee this year. We can submit a film from this year.
Oh.
So there's a chance. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
I would nominate a Viva Max movie. Just kidding.
Oh my god.
That
I feel
is
like they
cinema.
would. I feel like
That's
they would.
cinema.
Pero yeah, I'm actually happy that more people will get to see Flea. Actually,
Mm.
Flea is the one that
Yeah.
I feel like Hamaguchi and obviously Pablo Sorrentino and even Joachim Trier. I feel like they've been making the rounds sa pati magazines and stuff. But then Flea and its director, parang they haven't necessarily have they been on like magazines and all of that.
Only online lang.
I think the
online.
online marketing has been a great. I mean, they're backed by Neon, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't
Oh well,
call them exactly underdogs, but like they haven't been as high profile because I don't think the filmmakers behind it are like high profile auteurs, quote unquote. So I think they're banking on the film, the online marketing. I mean, Neon standard strategy, and like just the fact that it's an animated documentary from an international, from like
Yeah.
Mark.
non-US
Yeah.
country, like that trifecta leaning into that, and they got noms in all three, so they're maximizing
Yeah.
their chances.
Oh, also-
I don't think they're the favorite in any of the three, but you know,
But they deserve to
like,
be
like
in all
I think that's a
three
good job.
talaga.
Yeah, they get to be nominated for all three.
Wait, pero yung worst person in the world, I think that kasi it also screened at Sundance. I think that actually kind of helped it because Sundance was online and like a huge chunk of the population also goes there. So wala
I think it
lang.
was Can. I think it was Can.
It was
No,
Cannes.
I mean like this year it screened.
It's screened in
sa-
Cannes. I don't know if it's
This year.
No,
screened
I
in
mean
Sundance.
this year it
It's
screened
screened in
siya sa
Sundance.
Sundance.
Good job.
Yeah.
I think it.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, it might have.
Pero wala lang. Ayun. Hey. So parang wala lang. It was like na people were talking about it last year and then late last year and then we were talking about it again now. So parang okay, that's good.
People should be talking about it for always.
That's true.
I'm a big worst person chill. Like
Until the sequel comes out. The worst person.
somehow
I
Anders
think Worst
Danielson
Person is
becomes
actually a
back.
documentary
Oh,
about
spoilers,
our
spoilers.
lives.
Yes.
Sadly, yeah.
Well.
Biographical pala.
Same. I'm not gonna deny.
Ay, nako.
Anyway, any other thoughts on the speaking of best documentary feature and Flea, any other highlights you would like to talk about on that category specifically?
I haven't seen any of the documentary features. I feel like Emil might have like documentary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen all of them except Writing with Fire. I'm okay naman with all of them. Summer Soul is clearly going to win. I'm disappointed that Procession isn't there. Because Procession is like my second favorite movie of last year, and it's like an actual Netflix documentary that doesn't suck.
Antono, I'm surprised we don't talk about Bruno wasn't their submission for best original song. As someone who hasn't seen Encanto, like
Well,
I'm
because
surprised that was there.
of rules. Because eligibility rules kasi.
Oh,
Because explanation, okay. Encanto kasi was released late. So, and the team behind Encanto did not know which song to submit. They didn't know We Don't Talk About Bruno was gonna be such a hit.
mm,
So instead, they just sent Dos Oruguitas because obviously it's the heart of the movie. So that's the only one they submitted. And then surprise, people kept talking about Bruno. So if they
Ironically.
Thank you.
had they known, maybe No Time to Die might have had a competition talaga. But you know, surprise.
Can't
because
they
of-
send multiple? Because I remember A Star Is Born.
Yes,
sent
you can send
multiple.
up to 3. But yun nga, they had no idea talaga. They really didn't know
Oh.
which
Because they
song.
didn't want to talk about Bruno. Yan pala eh.
Oh.
So,
also,
yeah.
I would argue hot take that Dos Orguitas has always been the superior song. That's just me. But
That's same. I
Yeah.
agree though.
It is.
I agree.
Makes sense.
Go Aliyah.
No, I was just gonna like say na parang it's been a while since I've been this excited about like animated films. Like for the past couple of years, you kind of have like an inkling about who's gonna win. And now parang I don't know, it was just like a great year for animation, I think. I haven't seen like for example Flea and Raya, but I saw like the animation of Flea in particular, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Plus like the substance of that particular film. And you know, parang it's interesting to have it both as a documentary and like an animated feature film. Like, yeah, wala lang. It's just so exciting to have these types of movies explore different mediums or ways to tell their stories. So it's
Yeah.
such a, I don't know, it's been a while since I've been this excited about nominations in particular. Like, I don't know, it's just a fun time. So yeah, I'm excited. Like I also side with I hope that the Mitchells versus the Machines win. Even though I love Encanto, I also enjoyed Luca, but yeah, like there was just something about that movie. Like it was so unique, it was so fun. And I think even though um the like at this point, syempre, the retention is more on Encanto. I hope that we remember how at that time, like in the pandemic, where everything was just so dull and boring, Mitchells came out and it was just so fresh and fun. It brought a lot of life to everyone. So, yon, I just wanted to say how exciting this category is for me.
Woo! Let's
Definitely.
go Mitchells. I
Yeah, I
cried
mean-
at the end of Mitchells versus the Machine. I'm
Aw.
not gonna like no cap. I cried.
And I share though, Mike Rianda liked my tweets on Twitter about
Wow.
Mitchell. So I'm like,
Okay.
Oh, more power.
and
More
Christopher Lord also. So I was like, Christopher Miller pala. So I'm watching on Phil na lang. Phil, I'm watching you. I'm waiting for you.
Can
Well,
I just say,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just want Mitchells and the Machines to win because it's so gay.
Yes.
Gay.
Yes.
So gay. Please give us something gay. Wala lang. Ayun, that's it.
I mean, if I'm reading the tea leaves right, best picture. Just like a little preview. If I'm reading the tea leaves right, best picture. It's gonna be like super gay.
That's true. Yeah.
But we
Go
can get to
Emil.
that.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like semi-transition if we're talking about animated stuff.
Sorry,
Um,
before we parang I just wanted to say to echo Emil's sentiment nga na parang, how are 3 of 5 of these from the same company essentially, right?
Right.
Two are Disney Animation and one is Disney Pixar. So definitely is there a ruling on that as Disney continues to own the world? And I mean in terms of style, although those are very stylish in their own rights, Encanto, Luca, and Raya are like Asian, Latino, and like Italian, but at the same time parang the animation style kasi is really just like you'd recognize it as a typical Disney 3D animated film versus nga Flea and Mitchell's versus the Machine. So I guess it's just really Encanto is just really like a big TikTok hit right now, which
Yeah.
I guess caters to
Talks about to win it an Oscar. No, that's going too far. Like I'm sure it's a good movie.
Yep. Anyway, Emil, you
Let's
were
go,
saying.
Mitchell.
Oh, I was just gonna say, parang to semi-transition, the one like Disney film that I was really, really rooting for was completely snubbed from animated short.
Animated short film.
Naman, yung Us Again.
I was waiting for it. I was like,
Yeah,
who was
like
talking about this?
I thought it was like a sure ball entry. It was the short film that played before Raya, and yun yung where I cried like before, like while watching a Disney movie. Like I thought that was so good. Just 7 minutes. I feel like Pixar animated shorts usually have so much more creative freedom when it comes to like how they're done compared to like the full length films. So, but nobody ever talks about the short film. So like I'm just in my corner being like, hey, where's the Disney movie that I actually like a lot? But yeah, yun lang.
Tapos diba that was Keone and Mari?
Yeah, the choreographers.
I love
they
Keone
did
and
the
Mari.
choreography for
That's
that.
why
yeah.
I was hoping talaga. So
Yeah. I cried. So.
I'm still mad that Blush wasn't in the shortlist. Okay. I'm never gonna get over that talaga. Oh well. Whatever.
It's sinasabi yata si Aliyah. Sabi ko.
I was just gonna say I love Blush then. Like, I have actually reviewed the other nominations. I'm so sorry. I'm just looking through it now. Because I'm like, what was that film? Like I watched the short where like it's an alien. Because you mentioned it, the Blush.
Yes, Blush.
Like, oh, I'm sad it's not here. So yeah, so many good like again animated things that came out. So yeah.
All right. So now let's head on to the acting categories. I guess before we head into the best actor and actress, any highlights for you for supporting actor and actress?
Justice for Ruth Nega. Justice for Katrina
Yeah.
Balfe.
Medyo na
That's it
I
for
was
me.
legit surprised. Na
I'm shocked that Dench over Balfe. Dench over Balfe
yeah.
is surprising.
Same.
Ridiculous. As a longtime fan of Outlander, this is ridiculous. I can't believe Katrina Balfe has never.
You're like, I am outraged.
I mean, the Outlander fandom is very passionate about her performance, so we're just very.
She was the one nommed like everywhere else. And
Yeah.
she's very clearly like the main supporting actress.
Of course.
Yeah.
Then like 15 minutes, 20.
And
Like
she
not a
did-
lot. And Balf is in it for like 75%, arguably a co-lead. Like she's not the lens through which we see the film, but she's the most active agent in the film. So I'm just personally, she put in like so much more in terms of like time. Just like I love Judi Dench, and I feel like that's why Judi Dench got the nom is because of a general. I saw this on Twitter, just a general. We're the Academy and we love Judi Dench, which is fair because Judi Dench is great. But like, if it would have been a nice opportunity to give someone who has been acclaimed for her TV work for a long time, who has solid supporting performances, I would argue she was also very good in Ford v Ferrari, just in the stock harried wife role. Like, like she did her best. So this was it felt a little like a bummer to not see her get nommed, as was Ruth Negga for Passing. Although I feel like for some reason Passing kind of flew under the radar. Maybe Netflix decided to not double down on it, didn't feel like it got enough love. But aside from that, good to see Kirsten Dunst get her only her first Oscar nomination. Good for
Yes,
Kristen.
she should have
Very
been
happy.
nominated for Bring It On. She should have been nominated. I
Correct.
love her.
That was a cultural phenomenon.
Brr.
Oh, it's cold in here. I can't do any more than that because of copyright. Pero wala lang, she's so good in this, and I think that naiyak ako when I saw Kirsten Dunst. Like there was a snippet of her interview from way before. I think na parang she felt like she hasn't been recognized by her peers, and all of the time, like she's only been recognized way after. Like people only like Marie Antoinette way after, and whatnot, or people only appreciate her performance more in Melancholia way after. And parang it's just so nice for someone who's been kind of, whether or not she wins, parang I feel like this kind of is reparation, atonement for like all of those years like she was, I don't know, like not really being a serious actress, I don't know. Yeah, I would have swapped out Judi Dench, honestly, pero parang there were conversations somewhere na because the last frame of the film ends with her, parang Belfast, the sentiment of Belfast stays with the grandmother, so you kind of think of her in the end. So I don't know, I don't agree with that. But then the thing is, she's won for like way less screen time before, right?
Yeah, she
So-
famously has the Oscar for shortest performance.
Yeah,
Right.
so like
in Shakespeare?
Famously.
Oh,
Shakespeare in Love. Yeah, she's like
Shakespeare-
there
no,
for like 7
yeah,
minutes.
she's in there very briefly. She has the record for shortest performance by an Oscar winner.
even shorter than Anthony Hopkins?
In
Sa
what?
Silence of the
In
Lambs?
Silence. No, I think
No,
I think Anthony Hopkins is in there more.
he's the shortest for lead ata. For supporting, it's either Dench or Beatrice Straight in Network, who won it for like one scene. It's a really good scene, but like she won it for one scene.
Pero like
Ayan na.
to round it all off, Jessie Buckley is a very welcome surprise. Very welcome
deserved.
surprise. Or
Yes!
so happy about
very
that.
welcome.
Justice for Glasgow. Let's go.
Justice for Glasgow.
But I will
Justice
say
for, like,
supporting
I'm thinking of
actresses-
ending things.
Also, yeah.
I don't think I'm thinking of Ending Things was an Oscar. Like would have ever got nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah,
But she
I
was
don't
really
think
good
so
in it. Like supporting actress, I think is between Dunst and DeBose. Just like my initial gut feel it's Dunst or DeBose.
Same.
For supporting actor, I have no read. I would say
I
Cody
mean-
Smith McPhee, but he might split the vote with Jesse
Yeah.
Clemens.
Yeah,
Second
that's
one
what-
for J.K. Simmons being the Ricardo.
That's because like from what I've noticed, Cody has been like picking it all up talaga.
Yeah.
But again, I'm happy to see Jesse here because I think
Yeah.
he was also great.
He
But
was
now
great.
seeing that he's here with Cody, it makes me wonder, okay, will he pull away votes from Cody? So
yeah, but
because both
yes.
both like show the iba yung performances sila, like the way they what's the right word? Like how they interpreted their characters in a very different way. So wala, I guess it's up to the voters na lang how they perceive that. But yun nga, I'm happy for the both of them. But I really was not expecting talaga J.K. Simmons. Like I really love the guy, but I really thought he was like, okay, he's just a good actor. That's the pero Ricardo's talaga, really? I don't know.
Has anyone seen Ricardo's? I haven't.
I have.
I have
actively chose to
not.
I have. And so that's why, like, the only explanation I could give is it's because he's J.K. Simmons. That's why he's here. So, wala.
But fun fact lang na, the legacy of Spider-Man in film, in cinema. Having nominees, J.K. Simmons, Kirsten Dunst. Yes,
He should have won for playing J. Jonah Jameson, let's be real. I mean, like, I can't think of a better, like, side character in a superhero movie who's that,
side character.
like, well cast. I mean, that's why they had to bring him back.
Yeah, even in No Way Home, he plays J. Jonah Jameson very much like an import from. He feels more like an import from the original trilogy than Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire is a little Marvelified in
Not yet.
his Spider-Man there, but like J. Jonah Jameson, you ported him from the early 2000s. He is early 2000s J. Jonah Jameson.
So they have been signaling to avoid
Okay.
No Way Home.
It's okay. I took off my earphones.
Oops.
But
I thought everyone
of-
like knows at least.
Wait, I was just gonna add, since you're talking about supporting actor, my favorite acting nominee this whole year is Troy Kotzer.
Yeah.
I think it's so, like, it just reminds you, like, how deaf actors have been around for forever, and like it's so cool to be reminded that they're here and they are just as good. And he's only the second actor to be nominated second deaf actor to be nominated, next to Marley Matlin, who he was in Coda with.
Yeah.
And like, I think he's so good in Coda also. Like he's half the reason why I cried in, like, as much as I did in Coda. So yeah, like, it's nice that, like, you realize that he's been in the industry for a long time. I don't watch The Mandalorian, but he was apparently a Tusken Raider in The Mandalorian.
He was.
So it's just nice to see him, like, finally getting this attention. And he just seems like such a nice person. So I love him. So
I will defend Coda. Same, Emil. I will defend Coda.
Same. I'm a Coda defender.
I don't care what people talk to say about it. I will defend it.
It's like, admittedly, kind of a cheesy teen
It is.
coming of age thing, but that's why I like it. Like, it doesn't, like, I feel like even, deaf actors should have their own cheesy coming of age thing, because why not? And, like, it made me literally burst into tears. Like, that doesn't really happen to me, but, like, there's a scene towards the end where someone starts to do something, and then I literally just spontaneously, like, oh no. So it's a really fun, like, family kind of thing. So I love that movie so much.
Coda defenders.
Yay.
All right. And speaking of Spider-Man, let's head on to the Best Actor category. Let's just announce
Congrats to Tom Holland for
who was
nominated.
nominated this year. We have Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom, Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth. May ambag na ako finally with Andrew Garfield, because Tick Tick Boom, like, wow, that was like a revelation for Andrew Garfield as an actor. I mean, we all know that he's a good actor, but, like, adding to that a layer of singing pa and, like, just acting throughout that whole film, definitely a great turn for him. Other category, other actors you'd like to commend or you think would put it in the bag for this one?
This was the only category all my guesses were right. Like 5 for 5. Like, I just, like, wala. Even Javier Bardem, like, for some reason, I just knew he was gonna get it. I guess because he's Javier Bardem, that's why. But I'm really happy. Twitter is so happy for Andrew Garfield. Like, people are talking about him so much.
Andrew Garfield is so good.
He's also such a nice. He's another nice person.
Nice person. Like, I like listening to Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, he's so eloquent.
Yeah.
And like, I'm happy with all. I'm satisfied with all these with nominees. It's like, especially Denzel, his 10th nomination. Like, my gosh, he's really a literal goat talaga. But pero, wow, gosh.
He's a literal goat.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out lang na Benedict Cumberbatch, like big fan talaga. He was great. I just wanted to point out that he lost to John Arcilla sa Venice. That's what I keep looking back. Like John Arcilla won against Benedict Cumberbatch sa Venice. I was like, oh, wala lang. It may not affect the voting, but like it's in my mind, like because we're Filipinos, I guess, and it having knowing that it like I was like, oh, that's interesting. But man, Benedict Cumberbatch as a cowboy, that kind of cowboy, I'm like, oh, didn't see that coming.
That kind of cowboy.
That kind of
That kind of
cowboy.
cowboy?
That kind of cowboy. Didn't see that coming. Neither did he. But
Gay.
Bronco Henry.
Bronco Henry.
Bronco Henry.
Actually,
Yeah,
dapat si Bronco Henry yung manominate for Best Supporting Actor. It's like, damn, he was so good in that film.
Man, he was everywhere.
Yeah. Pero can I just say, I feel like if there will be an upset in Best Actor, I feel like it will be Andrew Garfield. Upset, like quote-unquote
Upset. Yes.
Upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kasi I know that the conversation says na it's going to be Will Smith for King
Mhm.
Richard or something like that. Possibly Benedict Cumberbatch. But I think like Andrew Garfield has been having a great year and parang ito yung resurgence niya. And like he's just so nice.
Yeah.
Wala lang. Ayun.
I love how
Yeah.
we go back.
It's like an Andrew Garfield love fest.
Also, like I have been watching
Like, yeah.
Andrew Garfield interviews on
Yes.
YouTube for like
Yes.
weeks.
Oh my
I
god.
love that. Oh, I love Andrew. I love Andrew. Yeah.
I think my read of the tea leaves is Benedict Cumberbatch is gonna win.
Mhm.
I would not be like, I feel like an Andrew Garfield upset would be very fun. I also am very happy because he, like, Tick Tick Boom was okay, but Andrew Garfield in Tick Tick Boom was like It's not his first nomination,
Yeah.
but it felt like an exhibition of like everything that makes him such a great underutilized actor. It's kind of amazing that it's been like 12 years since his breakout, and I feel like he has the chops to do more of these like great roles, and it feels like he just dropped off the radar for a little bit, at least in the public consciousness. So very happy for him to get this moment. If he wins, he'd be like my heart choice to win, even if like looking at these performances, I think the favorite is Benedict Cumberbatch, and the one who should win is Benedict Cumberbatch. He really did love Bronco Henry.
He really did.
He loved that guy.
Yeah, he loved that guy.
They were good friends.
Like,
Good friend.
Were they
Yeah.
roommates?
They were besties.
Probably.
No, I mean they
It's
were
like
they were
on
they
water
did the
bed
trail
together.
together, you know? They're
Yeah,
tight,
they
man.
did the trail.
Probably.
The trail.
not this, not
Yeah.
this stuff. Anyway,
Wait, go ahead, Jace.
I was gonna say like for
Go
Best
ahead.
Actress, obviously like people are surprised that Lady Gaga is not here.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, but then if Penelope Cruz like sneaks in because of that, I'm kind of fine with it. But then like I also noticed that for the Best Actress category, like a lot of these nominees are already winners. I think Chastain and
Sustain na lang.
Kristen Stewart
Chastain
na lang
Yeah.
hindi, diba?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yun, like, and Jessica Chastain has been posting TikToks of her transformation. She is really
Milky.
trying to campaign.
She
hard.
wants it. She
Oo.
wants
He
it.
wants
Yeah,
it.
she
bad.
She wants it.
We respect
I-
the hustle.
Yeah,
I'm-
I feel
Yeah, she wants it.
I feel like this might be Stewart or Kidman's to lose, but I kind of want Olivia Colman to win. Like, is that weird? Like, I feel like she's the safe. I feel like all of them, she's gonna be the safe bet because
Safe bet.
everyone
Okay.
loves Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
Like if you invest in Olivia
Yeah.
Colman, that's not an investment that will ever go bad. You know, like yun. So there's that chance. Pero like ang laki ng sentiment na pro Nicole because of I think that AMC like trailer whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best
Supporting
ad.
theaters. Is it good? I haven't seen it.
See, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. And
Oh, really?
stories feel bigger and different because here they are. I've seen it so many times. And I love I keep telling my friend, like, heartbreak feels good at a place like this. I'm so mad that that line is in an AMC ad. I love that ad. I love that ad so much.
See, so far that is more memorable than the script of House of Gucci, which is not nominated.
You
it-
don't think
anyway.
you don't think Jared Leto in House
No.
of Gucci is memorable?
No.
Paolo. Paolo
No,
Gucci.
let's not open this. Let's not open this.
Papa.
God, that's
Pero
way
siguro
better than
ayun,
most of their
let's jump
accents.
on that. Like thoughts about House of Gucci. We have not spoken about that in this podcast.
I think Gaga should have gotten the nom over Jess. I've been ride or die for Jessica Chastain
I can see
since
that.
2011. I have like my brand for a few months in college was the Jessica Chastain guy.
I remember
like
that.
I've been like
I remember
ride or
that.
die. I think she should have won for Zero Dark 30. Sorry to J Law fans. She should have gotten her Oscar 10 years ago. But like I am just like she would have been my first out. Like if I had to replace someone, maybe not. I think Gaga should have gotten over her. Gaga would not be my first slot in her, but I thought Gaga's performance in House of Gucci was legitimately good in that she was able, because House of Gucci is a film with a lot of ill-fitting parts.
True.
It has Jared Leto doing whatever he's doing, Jeremy Irons not even really trying with an accent, Adam Driver, just being solid but not spectacular. A lot of other sort of like moving parts. Salma Hayek is somehow in it. Like I always forget Salma Hayek is in it, even if she plays such a big role.
She's a turn
So there's a lot of ill-fitting parts. And I think Gaga makes the whole thing make sense.
Yeah.
Just she understood how to perform the role in such that, okay, I'm the connective tissue of the film.
Yeah.
It's called House of Gucci. I'm the lead character. I'm not a Gucci. She understands like who she needs to be seen by scene. So I think it's actually a low-key difficult role, especially striking that tone of it's serious, but it's also like a little campy, although not really campy. So it's sort of it's the kind of, you can have like a great performance in a bad movie. And I think Gaga's performance is the sort of, it's a bad movie, but if Gaga's performance wasn't so great, it wouldn't even be a movie. That's
I guess to
why
put it into an analogy lang. Sorry for if
No,
the
fine.
teacher gave a really confusing homework, Gaga understood the assignment.
Gaga did understand the assignment.
And she
Even if the assignment didn't make sense. she understood it.
exactly. She understood the assignment and she did that with flying colors. Anyway, you were saying
Yeah, no, that's it. But like in the pivot back into actress, who I would not have had Chastain on it. I'm happy with the other four. Nicole Kidman is just your standard, like, yeah, we have to put someone from an Aaron Sorkin movie in the acting noms just because that's what we do. I've been banging this drum for like months and months and months, but I don't like that slot should have gone to either Renata Ryans or Alana Hayam. I don't know which one I would pick. Don't make me choose, but those two gave the two best performances of the year, regardless of role size, regardless of like the gender binary the Academy is using. Renata Ryans and Alana Hayam are the two best performances of the year. I understand why they're not here. The two films are just outre enough, and they're not standard great Hollywood performances, but I do think they thread an amazing needle, and it's just, watch Worst Person in the World, watch Licorice Pizza, and this will be the last time I hop on my Worst Person in the World soapbox.
No.
This is not the last time I
Keep
hop
going,
on
keep
it.
going.
Come on.
We
No,
love to hear it. I'm so engaged to watch.
I was just gonna say that I'm super team Kristen Stewart just because of the narrative of her getting snubbed everywhere, then coming back with a vengeance and like kicking Lady Gaga out of her supposed like front runner spot. In terms of people who I would have wanted to be there, like a lot of different people. I haven't seen Licorice Pizza, but I love Haim the band, so I would have.
Emil
I would have put her in
nominates
there.
Daniel Hayam for like
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah. No, but the again, I know that I feel like Coda is a very like popular among like quote unquote more casual fans, ganun. And it's not necessarily like a big film Twitter kind of thing. But like I love it. I don't think it's like worthy of winning Best Picture or anything. But I love Emilia Jones in it. Because of the fact that I think when you look at it, it really is sort of like a typical coming of age lead character. But that's why I like it so much, is that it's sort of the template that we've seen so many times, but she just happens to do it so well. And which is not, and I mean, I know that effort does not equal a good performance, but I feel like she did both here because she learned how to sing and she learned how to sign. And she could improvise and sign at a certain point while she was like filming the movie. And if for nothing else, like she turns in like the best cover of both sides now I've heard in like God knows how long.
Yes.
Like that song is covered to
my
death,
God.
but the way she performs it is so, it feels new again. Like she just like injects
Magical.
like this youthfulness to it. So I don't know. Again, I cried a lot.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and she's like 9. She filmed it when she was like what, 17, 18. So well, I know that she has a long career ahead of her in the man. So I'm not too upset about her not being there, but I just want to support her.
Same.
So-
To
I
jump
agree
on
on
like,
both sides now. Go on.
to jump on like the Coda train. It was one of those movies that I really didn't think much about when I watched it. But then like again, I was also crying like at the end of the film. And coming from like nominations like Sound of Metal, I love seeing this recurring theme of making movies more inclusive in a certain way. So I like the idea that the Academy is being more acceptive of finding ways or allowing these types of films to take the forefront. So I guess that's why I also really want to like buy for Coda and let people know about it. Although I also acknowledge that it's probably not going to get a lot of the wins, but the recognition at this point in terms of nominations is already like an achievement in itself. So yeah, I agree with everything, and I'm just here to really like sing praise for Coda for people who haven't seen it or who are still thinking about seeing it.
I really felt na Emilia was a real dark horse talaga. Like
Mhm.
she and Renate were real dark horses in the race talaga. Because yeah, it was just dark horses. But I just want to say lang, if the Academy had any balls talaga, they would have nominated Agatha Rosell. I'm just saying, if they actually
Yes.
dared, if they wanted to, if they
Yes.
I don't care if you like, I love Drive My Car. If you can nominate all you want, but if you're not gonna like actually dare to nominate a movie like Titan, then you're not really making the big moves that you think you're making. Wala lang. That's my thought about it lang. But when I wrote my thoughts, I dared the Academy to nominate Drive My Car as much as they would. But then I started reading more like articles, and they said, "Oh, you know what? Drive My Car might actually get in." So I was like, "Oh, okay." Then
So they accepted the dare.
and deep
you.
down said, "You know what? If they really want to be there, they should have nominated Titan as much as they could, because it's very. First of all, it's a French movie. It's a body horror turned like it's such a weird genre is dead. I know genre is dead for this movie, but come on, like the way it treat how do you even explain this movie? Diba? How do you even explain this movie? So like if they dared, they should have nominated Titan. Like even the car should have gotten best supporting actor. No, Vincent Lindon should have been nominated. I love Vincent Lindon in that movie.
You're right.
Just to wrap the best actress
Agreed.
conversation, I just want to say I'm happy we live in a world where Kristen Stewart is an Academy Award nominee at this point. I mean,
Yes.
after
Yes.
everything people threw at Kristen Stewart, parang si Kristen Dunst din na parang, often overlooked. Kristen Stewart has been, on her redemption tour, I guess, for the last how many years in terms of, after her mainstream popularity in Twilight, parang, both her and Robert Pattinson have also come a long way. Not to say that Twilight was bad anyway. It had its merits, I would say, but it's just nice to see Kristen Stewart on this redemption arc as well. And yeah, congrats to her. Deserve. Anyway, now we head on to the last two categories. Thoughts on Best Director. So we have Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, and Steven Spielberg for West Side Story.
I legit screamed in my house when Hamaguchi was nominated. I legit screamed because for a long time I really thought, okay, I know this, I know which five it's gonna be. It's already obvious. It's the same people every time. But bam, in one of they named Hamaguchi. So I was like, oh my god, I really don't care. I don't care who he bumped off. I'm so happy that he got nominated. And then I'll talk about later, but I'm just so happy. He deserves it. He just deserves.
It's
He deserves it.
yeah.
He
That's
deserves it.
yeah. He's no. I think the right two thoughts. I think the right. I would say they got four of it right. They got four of it right, and then like I would have put in like as much as it pains me to say, I would have put in Denis Villeneuve.
Mm.
Just like to say as a Denis Villeneuve hater from way back, it's like he should have been on the five. But I think they got like they have like a good five, and I'm hoping this is a good indicator for like Best Picture. I'm hoping one of these five films wins Best Picture, because one of the films that's not on it is a film I do not want to win Best Picture. But like I think all of it is excellent. Wouldn't be surprised at Spielberg, honestly, of all of these noms, and I've seen like all five. West Side Story is a very directed picture, and I feel like if there's gonna be a split, it's either picture and director go to the same guy, or Spielberg is getting director, because West Side Story is just feels like a Titanic. It shouldn't work. None of it should work. But the way he kind of breathes life into what a movie musical could be, in the classical sense, I think we got a lot of great musicals in 2021 that kind of puts a twist on music. I think In the Heights is not a class. I don't think it's a classical movie musical, but it does it fairly well. Annette is also very strong, but it is not a classical musical at all. West Side Story is very much a classical go big or go home Hollywood musical, and I think the fact that Spielberg is able to pull it off and that the film coheres as well as it does, I think is such a titanic directorial achievement. So I am personally pulling for like Paul Thomas Anderson, just because I think Licorice Pizza is likewise a film that should not work, but it does. But Spielberg for West Side Story would be my dark horse pick for this award, and I think it's worth watching just to see. It's a constant, how did he do that? And like I think that's a feeling that I kind of missed in movies, because you very rarely see movies that have such a large scale and you ask, how did he do that? And the answer is just CGI, but none of it. I don't think any of West Side Story worked. Like all of the West Side Story shots are legit. It starts with like a drone shot that comes out of a sewer, and then I'm just like, how did he do that? And then I think that's the mark of a great like director.
Can't wait to watch it talaga.
So exciting.
Thank God.
Oh, it's not a drone shot, it's a crane shot that comes out of a sewer.
Cinemas, please just release it already. My God, please. They keep delaying it. Please.
My only additional comment for Best Director, because I'm like Hamaguchi all the way, like for me, like easily. But again, this is just me being a documentary fan. Like my complaint every year is I wonder when they're finally gonna I don't even know if they're eligible, but I wonder when they'll put a documentary director in Best Director, because I feel like it's a completely different set of skills that you need to be a good documentary director. But it's also, I feel like to direct a good documentary, you need a real sort of understanding of people and how to deal with people and how to sort of tell their stories in a way that doesn't serve your story but theirs. Diba? So I mean, and this year, like so many great examples, like Questlove for Summer Soul, even if that's just organizing footage, that's still like a different skill again, a very specific skill that not a lot of people are great at. Robert Greene again for Procession, who, he's essentially guiding 6 people through therapy. I mean, I can't name another director who did that last year. And just like in general, well, I just hope as a documentary stan that documentaries get more appreciation. Like even in technical categories, like Summer Soul had like the best editing of the year in my opinion. Like that's all editing. So wala lang, that's my soapbox for documentaries. Go documentaries. Yay.
After I recovered from my from my Hamaguchi happiness, Then I suddenly reflected, na, oh shucks, it was Villeneuve who was pushed out. And I was like, okay, when will he get his chance? He got missed na for Blade Runner, Arrival, Sicario, Incendies. He got blocked out of all those. So like, when is he gonna get his chance? Like, diba?
No,
Was
he
he
got
not
nominated
Dune
for
2?
Arrival.
Oh my god. How
Oh, he got
did
nominated for
I was
Arrival.
gonna say
Okay,
that.
he lost to Chazelle. Okay, he lost to Chazelle. But like, diba? Like, imagine, given what Dune did for cinemas, particularly, especially during that time, wala, it's ano eh, when you wonder when will he finally win. And I guess siguro I'm banking na lang na he might do a even better job for part 2. Wala, I'm just hoping. Cause
I feel like
yeah,
yeah,
go.
sorry, go.
Yeah. Yeah, cause like I'm hoping cause Denis Villeneuve is really a director I admire talaga. Like from the moment I saw Sicario, I said, okay, I'm gonna start watching every movie he makes from now on. And I did. And I really, yun nga. So like, I'm just wondering when will he finally win, diba? Dune was a really, I thought it was his opportunity talaga to finally win. But yun
I
nga.
feel like he'll only get a Best Director nomination once he lands with Dune.
Yeah,
If
okay.
it doesn't
Sige.
land, I don't think it will be.
Sige.
But yeah, anyway, I don't know.
Okay. But yun nga, same with Demille. Hamaguchi all the way.
Yeah, same Hamaguchi daw. Yun lang. That's
Go
it.
Gucci gang.
And all right, we are headed to our last category, which is, of course, the best picture. And this is the supersized edition with 10 films na nominated. Since what year is this?
Finally.
Like last year or 2 years ago, na they have a bigger list of nominees for best picture. Let's start with Belfast. We have Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. So,
Ako, I just want to say
Yes.
na I'm really scared na manalo on Don't Look Up. I feel like it might win. I feel like it has a good chance of winning.
I'm telling y'all,
But
it has a great
Nah.
chance of winning.
Nah, it doesn't.
it has a great chance of winning, honestly.
doesn't.
Especially as
It
Adam
doesn't.
McKay continues to bully people on Twitter saying they're climate deniers if they don't like this film. Okay? It has a very good
The
chance.
Academy can't
Anyway,
be a climate denier.
Nagalit talaga ako. I hate tweeted this afternoon. Like, at ano.
also, I feel like this film, I don't know if it'll necessarily work outside of a pandemic. If we didn't have the pandemic, I don't know if it will necessarily work. Anyway, I feel like that's what most of the people attribute it to COVID-related stuff when it's about climate change. Anyway, personally, I'm on either Drive My Car, or I feel like I'll like West Side Story or West Side Story. Pero I don't know about everyone else. I know si Aliyah is a Coda stan, so and I fully respect that. Honestly, I fully respect that. So yeah.
I'm a Colin stan, but I honestly don't think it's gonna win with this roster. Like I can see naman na it's here for certain things, but it's not gonna, merit enough to get the winners spot. You know what I mean? So it's fine.
I guessed 9 out of 10 for this one. Because when I guessed kasi I wasn't able to watch Nightmare Alley yet. So it was very hard to guess like where can I sneak Nightmare Alley if I haven't even watched it. So what I thought was gonna make it was Tick Tick Boom because what else could I guess talaga? And Nightmare Alley got in. But yun nga, again, I dared the Academy to get Drive My Car. They put in Drive My Car. Good because it deserves to be there. Like my gosh, it deserves to be there. And as much as I hate Don't Look Up, for some reason, it's there. So I, oh my God,
they took the bait.
they took whatever,
Yep.
fine. And again, all I can say is
Pretty sure
Adam
it's gonna
McKay's
win.
worst mistake was when he broke up with Will Ferrell.
Mm.
Because he wanted to be a serious actor, a serious
Director.
director. Like, oh my God. Wala. But yun nga, my heart goes to Dune because of it was the first movie I watched when I went back to the cinema, and it is a very cinematic masterpiece. Like if you want a theater experience, you go for that. I also feel for Coda because coming of age, cheesy happiness. And yun nga. And I explained before na Belfast has a very sentimental attachment to me personally because of what the story talks about. I feel very attached. It's a pegged front runner, I guess, because of how personal Branagh makes it out to be. And sige, I'll give it that. But yun nga, who I'm supporting talaga is apart from Dune is Power of the Dog and Drive My Car talaga. Like those three. Those three are my talaga. The rest, I can't wait to watch Licorice Pizza and West Side Story and Nightmare Alley to see how it will change my perceptions of the race. But yun nga,
Definitely.
right now, this is where my thoughts stand. So Drive My Car, yes, thank you.
So among these, West
Drive
Side
My
Story
Car.
is slated for Feb 16 in theaters in the Philippines, and King Richard is Feb 23. I'm not too sure. I heard some rumors about Licorice Pizza, but I'm not too sure if they're
Let's go,
actually running
gang.
that. But hopefully they
Don't need
do.
it.
No,
Ano yung
Um,
Feb 23? Ano yung Feb 23?
King
King
Richard.
Richard.
King Richard.
Sasabay siya sa Uncharted? Oh,
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
I feel like those
Sige.
two movies draw different crowds.
Yeah.
Kaya nga,
Definitely.
Yeah,
oh.
I feel like those are two different.
Yeah. I wouldn't
Fine,
be
both
worried.
cinemas will have,
Yeah.
viewers.
Yeah.
Please, Licorice Pizza, please come
From-
in. There's no screeners online, please.
There is no screeners online. I've
Who
been
distributes?
hunting.
It's
I've been
MGM,
looking.
diba? MGM who distributes
MGM
it.
owns it. MGM owns it.
It's their first nomination in 40 years.
Oh my god.
Congrats,
Wow.
MGM. Yeah, their last
Congrats,
one was
MGM.
ranked 88. So yeah,
Really?
congrats,
Wow.
MGM.
Yeah.
Congrats, MGM.
Okay.
Go.
Good. Okay. No,
Okay.
super
Oh.
short lang naman. I mean, I just like for me it's pretty clear. Like I didn't really have strong reactions either. Like it's pretty clear for me that Drive My Car is the best, and I swear to God, if they're gonna give Best Picture to Netflix for the first time, they're gonna give it to Power of the Dog. They cannot
That's
give it
the
to
only.
Dog.
That's it.
They cannot.
That's it.
They
That's
can't
it.
do that. It's illegal. So but for me it's clear that because Power of the Dog like overperformed talaga. Like no one expected to get like sound, production design, like it's everywhere. So and Jesse Plemons got the surprise supporting actor nomination. So I feel like there are enough people who like it, and there are enough people who believe that Jane Campion is overdue. Because this is her first since like The Piano or something, and like that was also like a huge. I don't know if it's her latest talaga, but like that was si Anna Paquin won. She's the youngest best supporting actress winner from The Piano also. So I just feel like there's also a narrative behind Jane Campion. But again, my heart is like Drive My Car also, just because I want people to accept that Parasite winning was not just like a consolation prize. Like international cinema is like the superior cinema, let's face it. So like let's normalize it also. Yeah, and watch 3-hour movies based on Soft Boy Murakami short stories.
Yeah, not 2.5-hour films on the Gucci family. I'm kidding. No. Anyway.
It always goes back. to
Sorry,
that.
no. I
Don't-
actually
don't-
enjoyed. Anyway,
They're catching
I
so
still
many
enjoyed-
strays.
We just watched
To
it
be
today.
fair, they're
kasi
catching strays. Don't Look Up is not catching strays. Don't Look Up is getting
because I don't want to
shots.
talk about Don't Look Up. I just
Yeah, I don't
forget
know.
about
I'm
it.
so
I don't want to talk about it right now.
Yeah, no.
I was so exhausted by yung discussions ng Don't Look Up during Christmas. Oh my god.
I feel like
Hi.
Don't Look Up
The worst.
deserves a debate episode with people who liked it
Oh
and
my god.
people who didn't. I already
I
met
have
someone who
I
loved
have seen people who like Don't Look Up, and I am like, I just kind of I don't want to get into it because I haven't seen it also, but like I don't want to get into it either. Just
Can't
like
wait till you watch it.
I am. As for the slate, I think Drive My Car is the best nominee of this year. I think it's the best movie to be nominated for Best Picture ever since that beautiful Phantom Thread in the same slate. It's the best movie of the decade. It's just I can't like layer enough superlatives on Drive My Car. I'm so glad it's on the list, and I'm so excited for people who kind of do their thing to see all the Oscar nominees for Best Picture kind of walk into a 3-hour movie based on a Murakami short story and about grief. I'm just like, I'm hyped. It's gonna be funny to say the least. As someone who was surprised Licorice Pizza got nominated, I do not think it has any sort of shot. I was surprised it got nominated at all. Just like, it's a fantastic movie, but like, I didn't peg it as an Academy type movie. I think they just saw Paul Thomas Anderson and like rode with it. I think the favorite for me is Power of the Dog. Just like not groundbreaking. It should win. It's kind of Netflix is in a good spot where the front runner is a Netflix movie and the dark horse is also a Netflix movie. So
Dark Horse. That's not a Dark Horse.
the,
Dark Horse.
the surprise, like the
refuse.
the
The
one
horse
that's
you
gaining
shouldn't
is
even
also a
look
Netflix
up
movie.
or down to.
I object.
But yeah, I'm hoping Power of the Dog wins. I don't think it's like it's Campion's first movie in like 12 years. I just saw her last movie, The Bright Star is also like really
Okay,
lovely.
sorry, yeah.
But it's her first movie that's gotten like Academy recognition since The Piano.
Piano.
So very excited for Jane Campion. She's one of our greatest living directors. The film is excellent, and it hits all of those Academy spots. Like it hits like a lot of Academy sweet spots. It's a throwback genre picture starring established actors by an established director. It's got everything you kind of want in a movie. It's dramatic. There's a romance. There's a little bit of darkness in it. Sometimes it's kind of funny.
So
It's
much
like
sexual
I think it's the deserving frontrunner. I don't know if a month from now it will be the frontrunner, just because I think me and Jace have faith in the dark horse to catch up. But like it's good. It might happen, guys. Like I'm telling y'all, I lived through Jojo Rabbit beating Little Women for Best Adapted. So so yeah, those are my like slate thoughts. Still need to see Coda, King Richard, Nightmare Alley, and that other Netflix movie. So
Deserve.
Okay, I'll just say that I'm here mostly to really just get the feel for the Oscars. Like, as I said, I was so excited when I saw the list because these are like the movies I've been wanting to see since I heard about them. Like, for example, Drive My Car. I'm not familiar with most of his. I don't really know him, but I know the Asako 1 and 2 movie. Like there was a time that I really, really wanted to watch it. I haven't seen it yet, but it's just one of those movies where I always say, oh my God, looks so good. I'm gonna watch it, but I never did. So now maybe with Drive My Car, I'm actually gonna commit to it. So yeah, that's why I'm really excited to watch Drive My Car. For me, again, I've only seen a few. I guess Dune, Coda, and Belfast. Between the three, I think Dune is the one that's probably going to get the best chance to win from the ones I've seen. But I'm also interested because all of you have been talking about Power of the Dog a lot. I've seen it on Netflix, but I haven't it's on Netflix, right? Like I haven't clicked it pa. I just know Benedict's there. I've seen Tom interview him about it. But yeah, I'm so excited to watch that as well. West Side then, I really like Jace's comment. Was that Jace who said that? Na parang, it doesn't make sense how it works. Or no.
That's Denny.
Denny.
Okay, yeah. When he said na parang it doesn't make sense that it works, but we miss these huge Hollywood masterpiece musicals. So I want to see what that's gonna be about. So yeah, I'm just so hyped to watch all of these before the Oscars and finally decide which are the ones that deserve Best Picture. Yeah.
Exciting.
I also just want to say Asako 1 and 2 is better than Drive My Car. Just like
Ooh.
that is
Really?
my hot take is Asako 1 and 2 is his best film. So
And,
To
and
be
that's one
fair,
of your favorites of all time, right?
yeah, I love Asako 1 and 2.
to be fair though, I feel like a lot of Hamaguchi fans they have differing opinions on which
Yeah.
we love a lot of his work,
Yeah.
but it's like a different favorite. Like for me,
Yeah.
I feel like Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy, which came out last year, also is better than Drive My Car, and I love both of those
Okay.
movies.
Yeah.
So
Pareho kami ni Emin.
take
Pareho
your
kami ni
pick.
Emin.
Yeah.
Just watch Asako 1 and 2. Asako 1 and 2 was the last movie I gave 5 stars before Drive My Car. So
Okay.
And that's very rare. Denny
4
doesn't just
years?
reply.
yeah, 4 years. I gave Portrait of a Lady on Fire 4.5. Like
Sacrilege.
picky with my fives and Hamaguchi.
Sacrilege.
Oh, I can imagine Jace inside right now.
Wait, I have my poster. Wait.
Hot takes.
But yeah. Like walk.
The hot takes tonight.
Lumabas na ang mga...
I also own that poster. I also do own that.
I don't have that, but I have Dune.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
I
god.
love Dune so much.
I'm trying to get
I
the worst person in the
reignited
world
my love.
poster in the cinema near me. So.
And I have Arrival.
Oh my gosh, Arrival.
Anyway, ayun. Anyway.
Let's go Villeneuve.
Pa-link po kung
So
saan
fun.
mabibili. with your
Drop the
link to you.
links.
drop the links
Anyway.
below for our Shopee affiliate program.
What?
Anyway, just to
You
wrap it
should,
up,
anyway.
since we're about to run out of time, I've only seen two of these movies, one of which is unfortunately Don't Look Up. So, and the other one is Dune. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest and seeing what I think will get it, or regardless, just enjoying that experience of just binging all the Oscar nominated films. And I've really been hearing a lot of Drive My Car from these guys, and it's really exciting to see. If you had seen 2 hours and 40 plus minutes of The House of Gucci, I'm pretty sure you can go and watch 3 hours of Drive My Car for sure. And you only had Lady Gaga to like make up for that 2 hours and 40 minutes. And with that, the Oscars or the Academy Awards 2022 will be on March 27th in the US. So that means that's March 28th here in the Philippines. So after all this discussion, you have that much time to catch up on the nominees, and of course also the snubs that people believe, and all whatever you want to watch. And speaking of whatever you want to watch, we're headed to our last segment in the show, which is the Pop Stop, or pop culture recommendations for the week. Nabulol pa ako doon. I will begin. I don't really have anything like super groundbreaking, but I finally got around to watching Euphoria because of all the internet buzz. And I'd say it's just really, really great TV that I've been missing out on for the last 2 years or so. And I'm glad I got into it. Like, I just watched an episode a few days ago, and I felt really like euphoric for some reason. Na parang it just got me like really. I live for this drama, and it just looks so good. And Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney and Hunter are all just really great actors. Like, wow, it's just like peak Gen Z TV, I guess. And you could see that in a lot of Twitter conversations as well. And I guess just to like spice it up for a bit, I finished Good Omens, the book, which I did not really like, surprisingly. So that's my anti-recommendation.
Dinamay mo pa si Neil Gaiman.
I'm sorry, but like I was, with all, sometimes you overhype yourself because of the cult status and all of that. But personally speaking, it's the first book I read in a year, I would say, or half a year, and parang I guess the writing style just didn't suit me. All of those, it's very, I guess, specific and intricate in so many ways that aren't necessarily like that you can cut off for me personally as a reader. But I know a lot of people enjoy it. But that's just those are just my thoughts on Good Omens. I hear the show is different also, so I'm looking forward to see how they treat that story into a different format. So that's for me this week. Who wants to take it away next?
I can go.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to shout out. I just had maybe the greatest cinema experience of my life. I saw Jackass Forever.
Oh, I'm so excited to see.
It is
Deserved.
poetic cinema at its finest. I have never felt more emotions. It takes you through laughter and like sadness and like everything in between, fear. It defies genre. It defies any attempts at classifying it. It's just an amazing, like, in all seriousness, it's a really good movie. Like, I really do think like it's a great little antidote for just if you have bad vibes, you cannot feel bad vibes after watching PK Subban launch a puck at some dude. I won't like get too much into it because this is a there may be kids listening to this podcast. Like, watch Jackass Forever, guys. It's great. You will feel.
Is it
no
like the
movie,
finale of some sort?
Yeah, because I don't think Johnny Knoxville can keep doing what he's doing. At one point, he gets run over by a bull.
Oh my god!
So like,
and
and
this
he's
is
like 49.
pang ilang movie na to?
This is their fourth one. I checked,
God.
and it's like they brought in like a bunch of younger people also, but most of the original group is still there. Except I think one of them is out because he couldn't like get sober, and I think he had like a fight with the creative team, and the other one tragically passed away in a car accident like 10 years ago. But aside from that, they're all there. They're in their 40s. They're getting run over by bulls and like getting launched into the air. It's just like, this is what cinema is about, guys. This is what the Lumiere brothers could see. They had an eye to the future and they knew.
Oh god.
We go way back, to the origins.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Well,
like the first Jackass stunt was the train, Okay, I'm done.
No,
pero grabe. I mean, the impact of Jackass in our, I guess, collective memories from like before, like being a kid and just being shocked at the things they're doing. I guess it's just really like the cultural impact of that is nice to see na it's still, I guess, being wrapped up nicely with this one.
Pure cinema.
Next person.
it's sorry. I was gonna. I should have gone before Denny because now mine sounds pretentious and like that sounds like so much more fun. And it's funny that Denny mentions the Lumiere brothers because what I was gonna say is that what I've been watching recently is like a lot of like silent films that are free on YouTube because I've only started recently like going back to like cinema history and like checking out all these classic silent films that are now in the public domain. So I mean, Denny mentioned The Train. If you want to mention like one of the OG stuntmen with a death wish, you can watch Buster Keaton films on YouTube for free. And this guy was really like, he was insane.
Lord, baby.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like an argument about which of them, Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and whatnot. But yeah, so I've been watching that. I've been watching old Soviet films from Sergei Eisenstein. And so far, like my favorite that I've seen like online is F.W. Murnau's Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans.
I love Sunrise.
Which is like a crazy thing that starts like a thriller, then turns into a romance. It's like the opposite. It's usually like you start with the happy stuff, then you go to the sad stuff, and then it's messed up. But yeah, it's just been fun because watching silent films like now, it doesn't feel like you're regressing or it's old. Like it just feels if it's new to you, then it's new. So it's entertaining and it's fun and yeah. So it's if you have free time, like there's a lot of it lang just online. So I would recommend that.
Okay, I'll go next now. I really have been in like a reading spell for a bit, so I've just been grabbing whatever books I can. The most recent one, I guess, is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I just read this because I see everyone talk about it. Catherine Bernardo posted about it, so I was like, I gotta find out why she's talking about it. We gotta know what homegirl is into these days. And surprisingly, it's actually a really good book. I think like they said that they all cried in the end. Maybe it's just like I just don't like I can't imagine that particular situation, so I can't really like get into that headspace. So I didn't feel that emotional about it. But like in retrospect, I thought about the contents of the book like days after I finished it. Like so, I guess that says something about what she was writing about. So I won't spoil anything. If you're interested in a bit of YA, but also with a bit of like adult discussions, then It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm also going to recommend Child by Mark Lee from NCT because it is my agenda in my life to promote NCT, K-pop band. That's my calling. So yes, those are my recommendations.
Next.
Friends?
Ano lang, again, gosh, I haven't been consuming new media I can't spoil yet because I just finished nga Boba Fett kanina, and that can be like thoughts for another day, I guess. But yun nga, because it's Oscars, this is the Oscars episode, I'm gonna start watching na lang the movies and shorts that I haven't gotten to yet. So apart from the 15 short films that were nominated, I've only not seen 9 feature length. So really excited to watch those. Hopefully, I get the chance to watch it before March 27. But yun nga, I know a lot of people will be excited to watch all the movies nominated. But I hope they also get to watch those that were not nominated, which were as good as well. So movies like we mentioned earlier, like movies like Passing, movies that were snubbed, like The Harder They Fall, Pig, The Green Knight, Titan. Like all these were overlooked, I guess, or like it didn't get enough votes, I guess, because I'm pretty sure because the Academy they all love movies, and I guess not everyone were able to watch. So yun nga, if people have time, I hope they get to watch like all these great films that came out in 2021. Because yun nga, I think we've mentioned this many times before. Academy is just the organization. They're not the pinnacle of what makes a movie great. So yun nga.
It's a
So yun lang.
construct.
Construct.
And finally, Jace.
Ako tatlong sets. First is yung mga MMFF 2021 films nasa KTX na.
All?
You can watch
Everything?
Whether the Weather is Fine.
Woo!
You can watch Whether the Weather is Fine. Love at First Stream. I would recommend that. Sobrang cute siya. Aliyah, you will love it. Ha? Mukha siyang
branding
cute. Like
me.
legit. Yun. The second is Cinema Region will be screening from Feb 25 to March 31. So check that out. I think that's via the National Cinema Committee's Vimeo channel. And then Kultura Film Festival is ongoing. It's Feb 5 to Feb 26. So yeah, you can just check those out. Those are full short films. So all of those are films. Ayun, please celebrate Filipino cinema para naman makapag-submit na ang FAP next time ng Academy Award nominee from the Philippines. Ayun. Yeah, that's it from me. Thank you.
Wow.
And with that, we end our show for this week. Thanks for tuning in to our Oscars 2022 nominations roundup. Again, the winners will be announced on March 27th. Of course, you can listen to all our previous episodes of Popcorn at the Radio Katipunan 87.9 FM. Thanks to the Radio Katipunan fam for always hosting us. Of course, our podcast episodes are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you stream your podcast. And we will all see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radio Katipunan 87.9 FM.